All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your boy Drew. We are Option Forward. I'm always joined by the second half of the show, GQ Nesto. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, doing great. Ready to get this cracking.
Ready to get it cracking?
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got some inspiration today. If you down today, hey, it's going to be a change the moment this man begins to speak.
He's always right.
Always.
He's always right.
Always in my business. You know what I'm saying? But ladies and gentlemen, we have a gift, a guest, an honor today to be in the presence of Mr. Chester Gregory. How you doing today, sir?
Man, I am feeling great. Happy to be here. Happy to be alive. And happy to talk to y'all. Thank you for having me.
So, wait. Let's back it up because, I know who you are. I know what you do. I know your background because, you know what I'm saying, I had to do some research and stuff like that. All right. But tell the listeners and viewers a little bit about yourself. Who is Chess?
I'm just a guy from Gary, Indiana, who looked up to the Jacksons, being from the same hometown, and found purpose in the arts, in storytelling, and inspiring people. And so I've been doing that ever since I was a kid. Did a lot of Broadway shows, moved out here to LA now to transition to do more television film. And, lately it's been falling into content creation. And I'm just here to just share my journey and everything I can from my experience to help make the next person's life better in some kind of way.
Nice. So you say Gary, Indiana. So is Michael Jackson number one or top 5? Who we going with? Who was your first musical number one?
Michael Jackson number one. Yeah.
Best album, favorite album.
Off the Wall, by far. Okay. Yeah. What about you?
I would say the same.
Off the Wall. Yeah.
Or that, or I don't know. No, Off the Wall.
Off the Wall, you have to go there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that.
Sure, Thriller sold more copies, but like Off the Wall is just a masterpiece. Yeah.
But Thriller was something special to me though, man.
Different eras. I
was like, oh man, this ain't about what I like. Okay, so other than Mike, you know what I'm saying, greatest of all time. Who are some other musical inspirations that you have?
Musical inspirations, okay, definitely Prince.
Okay.
I was watching Prince when I was in elementary school, looking at Purple Rain and looking at things I should not have been looking at in the 5th grade.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, okay, that's how you do it. All right.
Thank you, Prince.
Thank you, Prince. All right. I think I know how to do my first kiss now. Thank you. Who else? Prince, of course, Stevie Wonder. But I'm also a huge fan of hip hop. So Jay Dilla is one of my favorites.
What?
And an artist by the name of Georgia Ann Muldrow.
No, never heard. You're gonna have to put us on game.
I got you. Yeah. Georgia Ann Muldrow. She is a producer, singer, songwriter, MC, multi-instrumentalist. I just cut her own or Dilla anytime I want to get a vibe going. Yeah, I love to support a lot of independent artists and stuff too. Another artist I like a lot is Brick Liam is another one.
Okay.
And Mickey Miller. Yeah.
All-time greats.
Hip to some stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Put me on game. Yeah, I'm definitely down with that. What would you say? What was first album you ever purchased?
First album I ever purchased. I feel like this is coming to mind, but I know I had to purchase something before then. But Ice-T's Power might have been one of the first.
Wow.
You just had to.
I went there, yeah.
Michael.
Because I used to tell people like New Edition was my first concert, but when I look back, I was like, wait, it might have actually been Ice-T. Yeah, with a song called "Let's Get Butt Naked" and again, stuff I shouldn't have been listening to in elementary school, but there you have it.
Okay, and where did the spark? Was brought up in church. How did you know that like music, entertainment was like, yo, this is what I want to pursue?
So it started with, my mom. My family was very encouraging of me pursuing the arts. So my mom always took me to Broadway tours and stuff when they would come to the Chicagoland area. And sometimes she would just bring me. My mom was a teacher, so all the time she would bring me to her class and be like, hey, so, but she would do artistic projects in her class. She'd be like, okay, choreograph this, make up something. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, you can do it, go. I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? So both my mom and dad were just very supportive in me pursuing the arts. And when I discovered a love for it and knew that that's what I wanted to do for a living, they just continued to support me. And my mom did not lie to me. So when she heard me sing, you know, she was like, okay, well, we need to put you in voice lessons. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, you know, and so that was all very, very helpful. And then before I got a lot of no's, I got a lot of people who, well, there was a few people that were instrumental in me getting my ground. So it was like this girl I went to school with, she was in the 5th grade like me, and I did a Michael Jackson Thriller dance, and nobody knew I knew the routine or anything like that. It was just like, I used to rehearse it in my basement for like a year. And then
you were just waiting for that moment, huh?
I was ready for that moment. Didn't even know. Like, I was just having fun in the basement, being the only child. And then they played it at the school. Like, it was a wrap up of the school year or whatever. And they played Thriller. And I just hopped up and did the routine. And her name was Janet Allen. She was like, "You gonna make it?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna hold you to that." And then I auditioned for Performing Arts High School and got a no 3 times before I was accepted. Wow. But I always held to, like, you know, one of those first moments where Janet, who was no older than me, didn't know any more than I did, but that moment helped me keep my ground and my footing to have a yes before all the no's came, something to sustain. So, yeah.
And what is, I know that creates like because, you know, we talking about back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How are you dealing with those no's now? What are you doing to overcome that obstacle? I know you're not getting as many no's now as you were back then. You know what I'm saying? So, because that's I think that's hard for anyone to deal with. When you put 100% effort into something, and then someone says you're not the right look, or you're not actually, like, how do you manage that?
So what's interesting is the majority of my life I dealt with self-doubt. And so even though I would be an extroverted performing artist and portray these roles of these extroverts, I myself am an introvert, and I'm very I just had self-doubt to the point where it was crippling. All the way up until like a couple of years ago, up until 2019, 2020 was when I started to throw away all ideas of myself and just really like lean into trusting my intuition and stuff like that. And so part of what helped with that is like me owning whatever I'm feeling in that moment. And so it's like, okay, I think self-doubt is actually a part of the process as artists, right? You need what they say, being an artist is somewhere between like self-doubt and like absolute narcissism, where like I can do it all. You know what I mean? It's like, so the art lies in there, right? It's like there's another saying where it's like less of me and more of God. And so I don't think about, so when I find those moments being overly concerned about self-doubt and all this other kind of stuff, that's ego. And I'm thinking about what I want to do as opposed to what is a service I'm here for. And so when you think about the service that you're offering to people, then that takes it off of what am I going to look like, or what should I do? And then it's like, okay, here's something that is going to help me in my own healing, and I trust that it's going to resonate with who it's supposed to. And then from that, you let go of the outcome, and then in that process of letting go of the outcome, you come out of an asking state. Because I think like one of the worst states you can be in is like to present something artistic or whatever, or creative, and say, okay, do you like this? I hope you know what I mean? As opposed to, here it is. And it's going to vibe with who it's going to vibe with and not. And so when I started leaning more into that process, it then helped me to let go of self-doubt and to really offer a service to people to add joy to their life.
And I could see that because like his videos, like they're dude. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Like they talk to me, and it's kind of like I feel like it's the energy, it's the aura that you project through it, because it's like you're very certain on what you're saying, right? And then obviously there's information behind it, so it just makes it a little bit more intense, and you're like, damn. He's right, you know what I mean? Like I could scroll past you, but then I had to bring it back because I was like, wait, what did he say again? Hold on. Let me hear that again. So it's like, it's very impacting to see your message. And one thing I gotta ask you is like, I see there's a lot of passion. So where is all that coming from? Like where did it start for you to just be able to transfer that energy, especially, you know, via social media platforms or just the way you carry yourself? So where does that, you know, when was that developed?
So I want to say like this most recent journey of trusting my intuition and leaning all the way into it started in 2019. 2019. So what people experienced in 2020, I went through in 2019. It was one of the hardest years of my life. The world around me was just crumbling. I lost my voice. Bank account was stayed in the red. I had a bunch of gigs that got canceled. My son was graduating high school, and I had expenses that I needed to pay for him, but I ain't had no money coming in because a lot of gigs got canceled, and I also didn't have a voice. So it was like, okay, what am I gonna do? So during that process of like losing everything, it kind of mirrored another point in my life in 2013 when I felt like I lost everything. And it was kind of like the moment in the movie Life of Pi. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie when everything is just stripped away from him and just got this little notebook. And then the wind comes, it takes the notebook away, and it's like, okay, God, like, what do you want? You took everything. And that's what it's about. It's like surrendering to that moment. There's power in surrender. And so right before everything changed, I said, okay, I might not ever be able to sing again. Now what? What was I getting out of singing, out of using my voice to act, to sing, whatever it was? What was the why behind that? And so I was like, okay, my why was to inspire people, was to, you know, help share things from my journey that helps other people. Okay, well, I can do that without singing. And so I accepted in that moment that I might not ever sing again. And then ironically, something happened. That's when my healing came. And I was like, wait a minute, let me think about what I would say if I was outside of this position, if I would help somebody else. And I was that person to myself and watched some like videos about, well, there was a film called Heal, and it talks about how these people have healed themselves of cancer through their mental state. There's another thing talks about the what's the placebo effect, right?
Okay.
You are the placebo. So it's like you believe you're better. Oftentimes, that's all it takes is that belief. Your body becomes that belief. So I say, okay, I've accepted that this may not ever happen, but I'm accepting it, and I'm going to live in my purpose regardless. From then, like right in that moment, some ideas came to me where I started doing chakra affirmations. I was like, okay, let me start with the throat chakra. And so I did that. And then from then, I started being able to for the first time, visualize my healing. And so my voice had a polyp on it. The doctor said I would need surgery, all of this stuff. And then, but I was like, no. And the moment I surrendered and said, okay, I'm broken. I need healing, but I'm damaged right now. And the minute I accepted that, I could then see and then visualize my healing. And then 4 days later, my voice was restored fully after being gone for 8 weeks.
Wow.
So that was 2019. Then from there, I started to, a friend of mine really kind of helped save my life and change the trajectory of my life. My friend Hess, he called me and he was like, hey man, there's this leadership class I want you to try. And I was like, what? I'm like, I don't like how this sounds. It sounds a little cultish. What you talking about? He was like, no, it's, you know.
Transamerica.
Like, right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, what you talking about? And he was like, well, no, you know. So anyway, long story short with that, I found out, because I was like, okay, do you get a commission from me joining this class and all this stuff? Because he was like, no, I even pay for it. He's like, no, I don't get no commission, no nothing. I just think it'll be, it'd be helpful to you. Yeah. So I was like, okay, you know. So how he got me is he was like, okay, I'll pay for half of it, and you only have to pay like the remaining like 125. Can you come up with like 125 in like 2 weeks? And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, he's a Capricorn, and he offered to pay for something, like
he's
I'm
cheap,
like,
man.
okay, like.
Hey, he had to throw it. Right, you had to let him know.
Right. I think Capricorns are really particular with money, but I think Capricorns are also altruistic, and so me seeing that, I was like, okay, let me give this a shot.
Yeah.
And I did, and it was a week long of us like really looking at ourselves, looking at and we did a lot of games, a lot of imagery and stuff like that. And Hess told me before I started the class, it was like a lot of things you're going to instinctually want to say, but you're not because you're afraid to. And what you're going to learn is that everybody's kind of thinking the same thing. And so by the end of that week, I saw that, you know, through a lot of exercises and stuff we played, and we learned some techniques to like frame our days and stuff like that. And from then is when I like just put some things up that are on my wall to this day that say, whenever I'm in a situation or whatever, I ask myself, you know, what is the lesson, or what is the lesson I can gain from this? And in that way, you reframe the situation to then say, okay, this could be useful in some kind of way. And then the second thing I say, which works like a charm, is I say, I am expecting the best possible outcome. And in that, you just relieve yourself of any responsibility of trying to make something out of it, and just trust that God, the universe, whatever you believe in, is going to then manifest that and make it into something that is useful for you to help you get along where you want to go. So, got those techniques and stuff, started to implement that program right when 2020 hit. So then when 2020 hit, I'm an introvert, everybody's in the house. I'm like, yay! You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, now what can I do? How can I make this even, you know,
Beneficial.
Yeah, more beneficial, and how can I continue to grow? So I started like getting online a little bit more and stuff like that, and doing lives as everybody was, and you know, at the beginning of 2020. So by 2021, I said, okay, let me take this up a notch and really challenge myself. Because before then, I would post things like, you know, once every couple of months or so, or something like that, and have all these hopes of like, okay, hope everybody sees this picture, and all this stuff. And so then, in March of last year, I said, okay, let me try something. I'm trying to experiment. And I called it March to Wellness. And so I did check-ins every single day. And I was like, okay, I'm going to ask y'all every day, how you doing? Let me know how you doing. Let's talk about it. And so I would miss a couple of days and then like be like, oh, well, here we are with episodes 17 and 18. Let me know how you're doing.
Right.
And then so a friend of mine, Tony, talked to me, and he was like, so I've been watching your March to Wellness, and he said something that really hit home to me, and it helped change everything again for me. And he was like, look, you said you were going to post every day, and then you stopped posting every day, and then you tried to do like little catch-up episodes and stuff like that. And he was like, when you do that, that makes me feel like I can't trust you. And I was like, huh? I was like, you know, I started huffing and puffing, like, what you talking about? You can't trust me. Right. That's the whole point. I'm being transparent with the process of like, I missed 2 days. So here's, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
But I'm like, So I never thought about it as like trust before. So I said, okay. So then after that, you know, after I was done huffing and puffing, I came up with an idea to finish out the rest of the month, which is like 7 days left, 7 chakras. So I was like, okay, we'll do the affirmations for that. So finish that. And then like I started seeing comments from people, oh, I love coming to this every day. It helped me. Like, you know. And so from that, I was like, okay, now let's see what else I can do. What's something people always like talk about me or tease me for or whatever. And I realized it was zodiacs. And a year ago today was actually my first Zodiac video of me saying, okay, well, forget it. I'm just going to see what happens. And so I did this like skit of like how people apologize. And then I just inserted the Zodiacs, and I was like, ooh, I didn't really think about all of them. So I kind of like made it kind of fit for all of them.
Can we get like in one word describe all the signs with one word? Because I feel like you would have the perfect word for every sign.
No, but
just
before,
in one.
But before you go into that, where does all this information come from? How you be up in everybody's business like that?
I'm just saying, he knows. I'm just saying, he knows.
Like, you know, I done shot you a couple messages like, hey,
you did. I was like, whoa.
I don't really appreciate how you talking about my fellow cancers and myself right now, man. Like, where does this information come from, man? Like, is this a natural gift that you have?
So again, it was something people like used to tease me for. So it wasn't my first Zodiac video. Like, I've done like a few like Zodiac videos throughout the years, like ever since I had a social media account. But then also my friends in conversations, stuff like that, I'd always talk about zodiacs and stuff too. I'm not an official astrologer or anything like that. Like, it's just me hearing my mom talk about it and me being observant, like with my friends. And then I use the signs as a way to relate and understand people, as opposed to a way of like putting them in a box or something like that. So I was like, so it just came from a long time, long experience of me just watching my friends and family very closely and saying, oh, I see that pattern. Oh, I see that pattern.
Hey, you were missing. You were missing. I mean, you had it to the dot. You know what I mean? You were observe and report. I saw that. Like, it's pretty, honestly, like, I mean, I'm not a big fan of, I wasn't a big fan of it until you started, like, reading those books, and then you start maybe not really trying to believe in it because you just feel like, no, it can't be very true, but then you see the similarities, and then you stop observing other people, and then it just becomes some sort of obsession in your head that you're just like, wait, I can't trust you. Yeah, like you're a Gemini. You got double personalities. You know what I mean? You're this. Like you start making your assumptions. But I mean, what do you think? I mean, half of it, is it true, or do you think it's like partially?
I find it interesting that people born at similar times of the year can have similar traits, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of factors to it. You know, our environment. There's a lot of part that's just genetic. Like what, with 50-50 of each parent, and putting the shake and bake, and then boom, there you are, right? But then I also think that time of year also is interesting. Not applicable to everybody, but I have seen certain patterns that I just find interesting. That's all.
Give us an example. Give us an example of that. Like a pattern that you see, like.
I mean, well, you know, so, I mean, okay, so Taurus is coming to mind because when I was talking about the other video earlier, like, what was interesting, this is tied all in. So when I did the very, very first video about how signs apologize, and I included Taurus in the part that wasn't authentic to Taurus. And I kind of knew that, but I was like, let me just throw these in here and see, right? Like clockwork, all of the, well, a lot of Tauruses commented under the thing, and they're like, we don't ask for an apology, we just cut you off. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and so after seeing like the 10th Taurus say that, I was like, okay, I get it, y'all, I get it. So I was like, okay. So I did a whole nother video. It was like, so how the interviews happen is somebody sent me a message on TikTok and was like, you should actually interview each sign. And then I was like, okay, cool. So then when I got to Taurus, I was like, okay, Taurus, you know, we don't ask for an apology, we just cut you off, and we loyal and all that kind of stuff, right? So a close friend of mine, Rita, she is a Taurus, and so she will cut somebody off if they piss her off, you know what I mean? And like, you know, and she loves to eat. Like, we talk about food and all this stuff, naps, all those things. And so like, all the Tauruses I know are stubborn, they love food, they love naps, they're hard workers, they're super aggressive, and yeah, just a combination of that stuff.
But we don't want to let you off the hook with these one-word descriptions of the signs. You willing to accept that challenge? You think you can do it?
Sure. I did a video. I wish I could remember what I said on it. All right, here we go. And sometimes some of them may be more than one word.
Okay.
Okay. All right, here we go. Capricorn, productivity. Aquarius. Aloof comes to mind. I know my Aquarius ain't gonna like this, but Aquarius is like one of my favorite signs, and it's also my moon. But Aquarius is like, they're aloof. It is. Okay. Pisces, artistic, of course. Aries. We got an Aries in the back. I'm gonna let Aries off the hook and just say fiery. But Aries is also the god of war. Aries is always impatient. Aries gets stuff done though. So we'll go with fiery, which is a fire sign. That was an easy out. Okay. Aries, Taurus. Easy, stubborn. But I don't want to use, I mean, it's almost stereotypical now to say stubborn for Taurus. So I'll say competitive. Yeah. Taurus are very competitive. Okay, Taurus, Gemini. This is one where I definitely included in the video before. Gemini, multifaceted. Not multi-faced, not two-faced.
Right.
Multifaceted, Gemini. Cancer, consistent.
Now be careful now.
Right. Cancers are about consistency. All right, moving on along. Leo, regal. You'll never find a Leo that will not like attention. They will all like your attention. But even the ones that claim, like, some people commented who were Leos, like, I don't want no attention. Like, yeah, you do. That's why you're seeing something right there on the post. Yeah. Anyway, Virgo, precision. A friend of mine just posted a video and was like, yeah, perfection isn't possible, blah, 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 which I agree with. Perfection is not possible. But I was like, good luck running that past a Virgo, though. Virgos are all about perfection. Anyway, all right, so Libra. Considerate comes to mind. I didn't want to go with indecisive or anything like that, like what things. But a Libra is, in my experience, is always considering multiple possibilities, multiple options, considering what would be the most balanced, right? And they're sometimes considering themselves last, which is what I call the Libra burnout, which is why they all of a sudden be on 1,000. I'm like, wait, you didn't, like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, so never come for a Libra because they always are considering you. And so to not consider a Libra is, you're going to get a surprise, Anyway, Scorpio. There's a few words that come to mind, right? Scorpio's secretive. Mysterious, we can go with, right? But I'll go with passionate for Scorpio. And then Sagittarius, the most. That's 2 words, though, the most. I'm a Sag. Sag be doing the most. Sag be getting on my nerves because Sagittarius be doing the most. But I get it because I be doing the most sometimes, too, and I be getting on my own nerves. But also Sagittarius are more so, like, freedom-oriented. And so, like, I think what I enjoy about being a Sagittarian is that I can take a situation or, I can improvise in the moment and create something that'll change, an outcome that may look like a threat. So, yeah.
I could see that because Sagittarius, they like to be detached from the emotion. You know what I mean? You guys are very emotional, but you guys don't want to get into that gooey stuff. So I could see the train of thought being more, I wouldn't say assertive in a sense.
Yeah.
So that's why you're able to control difficult situations and be able to be the the wise opinion in a difficult situation because there's no emotions involved. It's more like, let me find the solution, right?
Yeah, I credit my Aquarius moon for being able to detach and observe and look at situations or whatever. Because, like,
shine the light on it,
Yeah. It's like if I'm like upset, I'll oftentimes just be like, yeah, so I'm furious right now, and so I just want you to like, you'll get the inflections, but like it's like, so I credit that. I see Sag as being like extremely off the cuff, like unhinged, just like whoa, you know what I mean? But Sag, I think, is I saw something that said about Sag, and I found it to be true, where Sag is like a child and a like wise person at the same time. And so like I think Sagittarians will have these like wise moments and this wisdom, and then on the other end just be very childlike and sometimes can be even reckless.
It's like you're a general with a Build-A-Bear. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like you're strong, you're a leader, but then at the same time it's like, let me put this little bear right here. You know what I mean? It's a way of kind of coping with the whole not so invasive, emotions. I get that. I feel it.
Now, this dude Build-A-Bear workshop. All right. So I recall like speaking to you, and obviously you are like, I would say, the example of trusting the process, right? through over the obstacles, the challenges, the ups and the downs of your career, you communicated to me that, or spoke to me that you're in a perfect position in your life where you feel like fulfillment. Mm-hmm. Explain that to me, like, how, not saying that you were like depressed and out of it years ago, but what's so important about this moment that you are in right now with what you're doing and what you're putting out there for the world to see?
I've definitely been depressed a lot. That's a whole another can of worms. But like, I think, so in 2019, another thing happened where I started to feel disconnected, and I've started to feel disconnected from God, the universe, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, right? And so I was silently praying to myself to be like reconnected in the way that I had once felt. And so through the process of losing everything and then rebuilding brick by brick, I then was able to rebuild in a way that kept me feeling connected. And so now I don't think that things are perfect or anything like that. I do feel connected to source, and I do feel like what I'm doing on a daily, I get a chance to create something, you know, at least several times a week that I feel is going to add value to somebody's life in some kind of way, and I get to do it the way I want to, which is another Sagittarius thing. Sagittarius like to, but anyway,
yeah.
So I think that is what has been like working in my favor, and I've allowed myself to say no. Like, I've had to let go of, you know, some, like moving from New York to LA, and just letting go of, you know, some friendships and things like that, and letting go of things that aren't where I'm going, you know what I mean? And so like a lot of times I've had a tendency to be loyal to people who didn't deserve it, you know what I mean?
Worthy
so it's
of
like,
it.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay, so what am I loyal to? So it's like, you know, so it's just everything has to be reciprocal in some kind of way. And so that helps keep me fed and not have me drained, so that I can stay focused on what I need to do to be creative, to then offer a service, to then feel like I'm adding value, and then, you know, continue to walk in a way that I feel is connected. So I don't know if that answers the question.
No, that's deep.
No,
That's
yeah,
deep.
I'm still processing, chewing bit by bit. But also, like, we all see the end result. We see what you allow us to see with whatever you post and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a process to even getting to that. So who's your team? Who are we giving daps and props to today? Who's responsible, you know what I'm saying, for you to do to enable the enablers, you know what I'm saying, those positive enablers that you have in your life to allow you to do what you're doing today? Or are you doing everything solo? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, success is never solo. You know what I mean? And so my team is like my cipher, I like to call it, of like my friends, my close friends that show me right, you know what I'm saying? Right. My team, that my circle of trust, my cipher of trust, my people who tell me the truth, right? The majority of my friends are jerks. So they hate most things, right? so I know when they tell me something that they like that I did, because they're a jerk and I know they're gonna tell me the truth, I know it's earned. So I'm like, thank you, because I know you're not just saying that. You're not being nice about it. You know what I mean?
They're
like,
not petting you. You know what I mean? They're actually keeping it raw. Yeah.
Exactly. So definitely, like, my cipher is, you know, my close friends and, you know, friends and family who have been supportive throughout the ups and downs and all of this stuff. So definitely those people. And then I have, you know, the people that are part of my cipher that I also do business with, who, you know, been helping me with the bookings and, you know, the emails. I'm terrible at emails and all of that stuff. So I have people that help me with that. And and then I'm starting to work to get like, you know, brand deals and stuff like that with food that I like. Food? I think I might be part tourist because I love food. I love to eat. Like that's. They're like, what do you do to enjoy yourself?
Like food.
Yeah. Food. Go eat somewhere and watch a bad movie. I recently saw a bad movie that just brought me so much joy, but that's off the subject. Anyway, so, yeah.
That's dope. That's like honestly, that's really. It's kind of like you said. You found your niche, and I think that's what we all looking for. You know what I mean? Because after that, once you find that, the rest doesn't really matter, right? Like it's more of like you're content not to stay in one place, but you're content with the direction that you're going. You know what I mean? And willing to see it play out. Because I think that's the hardest part. You know what I mean? Like fear, anxiety, all these things kick in, and sometimes we miss out on opportunities because we can't follow through. And I think I could definitely give credit to the Sagittarius of you know, being able to, because like, I mean, Scorpios, like we're very passionate, you know what I mean? We'll quit, you know what I mean? We're like, no, this seems like bullshit. And sometimes you just have to see it through, you know what I mean? You have to, we talked in the previous episodes, like you gotta be able to take your L's with pride and honor, because those L's are what's gonna make you grow, and they're gonna make you, look at it from a different perspective that's going to be beneficial for your progress, for your forward momentum. So that's pretty cool. Honestly, that's very admirable, and definitely like it's cool to hear your story in that aspect, because it's like it's not very common. You know what I mean? Like especially in such a short period of time that you're like 2019. You know, like you're like, you know, I'm ready to jump off a bridge. You know what I mean? And then here comes 2022, and you're like, this is it. You know what I mean? Like, let me live it. Let me observe everything positive that's going on. And I think that's just, I mean, I think I want to get to that point. You know what I mean? Where you observe everything and you take it in and you enjoy it, because, you know, life is not forever. You know?
No.
Right.
It definitely isn't.
I think one of the greatest lies that we've been told is that we have to find anything about ourselves. You never have to find yourself. At least that's what, you know, I'm learning and processing, is that if you look at kids, they, even before they're able to speak, they know exactly who they are. You can put two kids who don't know each other in front of each other, and they may be speaking gibberish, but they understand each other on a different level. And so I've always found that interesting. I think telepathy is a sense that we kind of downplay, right? A lot of times people share that with their pets, you know, or even with strangers, where it's like, you thought something. Did you think about blah, blah, blah? I felt that, right? And so like sometimes it happens with teachers and students, where it's like, you just thought of something dark. Is there, you know what I mean? So it's like, anyway, so you think of somebody, the phone rings, and it's them. You know what I mean? And so all those kinds of things, I think, just show how deeply connected we are. And so like, I don't think we ever have to find ourselves. We just need to forget what other people tell us about ourselves. Like, you know, so like a child knows exactly who they are and what they want, and allows that to grow and evolve until an adult says, what do you want to be? Who are you? I am who I am. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? And so like, if I change my mind career-wise every single day for the rest of my life, that's fine, because that's not who I am. And I think that was a big lesson in 2022, when a lot of people weren't able to practice what they do. Well, who am I then? I identify as a actor, a singer, you know, whatever the jobs also that were also taken away during that time period. I was gonna say doctor. Doctors worked overtime. So it's like, you're not able to do those things, then who are you? And if your identity is so heavily associated in that, then that's so fragile, because you're not, I believe, you're not those things. You're the why. And so like reconnecting with that why, you realize those things were just extensions of that expression. And so if those branches are cut, new ones can grow in other avenues. Like if you're a runner, if you're an athlete, right, and something happens to you, an accident, God forbid, and you're not able to move again, but your goal was to always inspired, then you can do that still through your story, through speaking. So anyway, I didn't want to.
No. Hey, it's deep. It's deep, and I think that those are the. I think this is the whole beauty of all this is that we're all going through the same purpose, same situation, maybe different ways, and it's good to be able to hear somebody that you can connect in some sort of way, because you're like, I feel this way. I want to, accomplish this, or this is the route that I'm going. I truly believe in auras. I'm a huge believer about auras. I'm a huge believer about like certain vibes, because you do connect to people, and it's weird, like especially people that, friends or family, people that like there's certain things that you some way connect, and it's a beauty, because like it's not often, you know what I mean? Especially with this whole world like polluted with social media, different types of distractions, that you go to a restaurant and you see everybody on their phone, you know what I mean? When we're missing out on the whole like spark, of being able to connect as human beings and be able to empower each other, because there's so much knowledge that we can be giving each other that we leave it to Wikipedia. And I don't know about that, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot more to learn from a life lesson than to a simple Google search, so
right.
Like it's pretty cool. Like
it's that community of learning is what we're missing. I'm saying, those interpersonal skills, and that's the whole reason why we created this platform. You know what I'm saying? Because we may think we're the smartest, the brightest tools in the shed, but hearing somebody else's story and being able to relate to that story and learning from their experience can also enhance our experience,
But you see, like, I think this is the part where the world is kind of wrong in it, because, for example, like right now you're just like, you know what I'm talking about, like, you know what I mean? You don't want to seem too invasive of what you're saying, right? But the reality is that it should be okay, because the deep and passionate and very in tune things that we think, sometimes we gotta let them out, because that's what kind of you empathize. You know what I mean? You're able to connect to a certain level where, as because sometimes people will be like, "Oh my God, you're just too much right now." You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to drink this beer, like, and like sometimes like him, like when I talk to him, he's like so disconnect. And then I'm just like, oh my God, he probably thinks he probably thinks that I'm just being too much. Like I'm overreacting. But I'm like, no, bro. Like, I understand you thought about this like Wednesday, but I'm thinking about it today, and I just like want to talk about it. And I think that that's the part where sometimes you come off crazy, or you come off like, oh my God, this dude just needs to shut up. Like, no, he needs to speak. This person needs to like express themselves, because those are the thoughts that are critical moments, because I think life is all about that one moment. Anything can change in that one moment. Nothing's for sure. We can't guarantee tomorrow we're going to live a certain way or whatever. Everything is that one moment. Either you could be the best moment of your life, or it could be the worst one. And it's just a matter of how to navigate through those choppy waters. And it's, I don't know. I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
He's into that stuff. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I've never really broken out the book or the science and stuff like that and did any studies on it. But it's amazing, because if I have any interest in it, it's because of him. Because he'd be like, oh, what's that? Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, bro, oh, you know me like a book now? Oh, you my mama now, right? You my mama, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But let's take it back a bit to some of your outstanding experiences. I know you just got off the road. Let's talk about that. Where did you go? What are you involved with? Can we talk about that?
Yeah. So I'm in the middle of doing several different projects right now. I perform with the orchestra. So the show, well, there's two shows. There's a show called Dancing in the Street, and there's another show called Men of Soul. And it's like three of us, and we go out and we perform with different orchestras in whatever city we're in. And so I do that. Aside from that, I have a couple of concerts that I do. Higher and Higher is one show that I do that features like some of Jackie Wilson's music and other like music from the Motown era, stuff like that. I just found out that my Jackie Wilson show is going to headline the National Black Theater Festival this year. So that show is called The Eve of Jackie. It's like a look at Jackie Wilson on his final performance. So I just found out I'm going to be doing that this summer. So I'm excited about that.
Congrats.
I'm going to add final performance though, because I'm like, okay, because with that show, like with the orchestra shows, I get a little bit spoiled because I can like just stand still and, hold a note or something and do like this.
Right,
Never,
right.
oh, your North Carolina Symphony, whatever. It's like, what I mean? But the Jackie show, I have to like stretch and, warm up and do splits and stuff like that. And I'd be like, okay, all right. I'm like, okay, all right. National Black Theater Festival in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Y'all get this one more time. And then we're going to close that chapter and I'm going to stand still and sing Moving On. So that's that. And I'm enjoying making the content and just sharing things. I also am a coach. I have several students that I coach, both voice and acting. I have several workshops that I lead from time to time. So then I'm working on an album. Album is called Retrograde.
I peeked.
Yeah, so that's coming out soon. And I have merch that has the crescent moon, which is a retrograde sign for the album, but then also the 12 different zodiac signs in 4 different colors. So there's a lot going on. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's congrats. I mean, that's dope. That's dope. I'm looking forward to see that.
You're like, it's kind of like one of those moments where you get back from the summer and your teacher say, all right, everybody stand up in class and what did you do for the summer? And then he tells his story and they're like, all right, Andrew, you next. And I don't want to stand up because I can't even I can't even compete about what he just said. But no, man, it's amazing what you've been able to achieve, and like I'm inspired, man. Congratulations on everything that
Thank you.
God is
attitude, man. Like I could see it. Like it's a prime example of like your approach, and keep doing what you're doing, man. You're about to do big things. I can sense it. Like your vibes. It's like pure and like they're like whoo. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're like. Mm-hmm. Sparkling and shit. So that's the type of thing that like what I mean. It's easy to have, hard to maintain. You know what I mean? And like I said, from watching and following your social media platform and everything, and meeting you face to face, I don't see no difference. I see the same energy, and congrats about that. I think that's very that's very admirable. So
thank you. Yeah, I try to be offer something that's useful and valuable, but at the same time authentic, right? So I hate those positive vibes only people and all that
Hallmark cards.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I'm like,
shut up.
No. So like sometimes I'll share like, hey, this is what I went through, or this is what I'm going through, or whatever, just to keep it balanced. Because a lot of times we see a person's highlight reel on the social media platform, right? We don't know the other side of what it took for them to get there, right, or the process. And so, so thank you for that. And I love the work that you all are doing. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. I first heard you all through Gabby Whiting. So, like, you know what I mean? Shout out to Gabby.
Oh, Gabby.
But
legit.
Thank you for having me here. I'm grateful.
For sure. Yeah. And I could see it, like, Gabby, same energy. It's just that spark, I'm just trying to live life at its fullest, and that's dope. That's pretty dope. Like, I could do that for like 3 hours, and then later on, like, I might need a nap, and then hope to God that I wake up in the same like mood.
The same energy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, do you have a preference? Would you do you prefer being in the studio, on stage? Would you rather be doing a feature film?
It's all seasonal for me, right? I've been having trouble identifying, like, what do you want to do most? You know what I mean? Like, what do you consider yourself? And I'm like, I don't know. So it's seasonal. So like sometimes I'll focus more on being in the studio, and then other times, then when that's done, I'm like, okay, well, time to move on to the next thing. Okay, my goal is to continue to be a multidisciplined artist, kind of like the duality of Donald Glover and Childish Gambino, right? So Donald Glover is the comedian, the actor, the director, the creative, and then Childish Gambino is the recording artist. So how I look at it is Chester Gregory is the actor, now growing, content creator, and singer and all of those things. But then Chess is my artistic expression that I want to express when I record, and we throw away all the Broadway stuff and all that, and we just focus on what I want to say musically, which is nothing like some of the Chester Gregory stuff or whatever. I'm like, people like, what used to get me was people like, I play your music all the time. I love your music. I'm like, wow. I'm like, thank you so much. Like, I'm like, out of curiosity, what song, and they be like, Tarzan. And I'm like, that ain't me, but thank you. Them checks go right to Disney when you stream or buy that. And so having Chess as an acronym also, but like having Chess allows me to really live in the lane that I want to create, the lane that loves Dilla, that loves like a lot of the independent artists, Georgia Ann Muldrow and whatever else, and just really say what I need to say without any confines of like thinking about what I've done before or like, or the fact that I'm on children's soundtracks. It's like, okay, no, this song might have some cussing in it. You know what I mean? Right. So like the kind of thing.
So in one word, how would you like to be described in the industry?
Artist. I'm just an artist.
Simple.
Yeah.
Simple. Man. That's all we gotta do.
This is like a super deep conversation. I didn't think I was ready. I don't think I was ready for this, man. But like, man, okay. I'm like fanning out. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just dope. Like to me, I find I have such appreciation for someone. And I think we spoke about this, for someone able to earn a living doing something that they love. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm still searching for that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we're doing what we're doing. Like it's cool. You can work a 9 to 5 and maybe that's all you see for yourself. Mm-hmm. But that's not all I see for myself. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There's so much more out there. So when I come across people and they be like, yo, when work doesn't actually feel like work and you're still earning a living and able to support yourself, like, dude, to me, that's like dream come true, man. Mm-hmm. So it's amazing to hear your story and to like, man, like you doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's every day. It's and I still be doubting myself quite a bit and thinking about like mistakes I've made and all of that stuff. And then I think the power behind it in this stage that I'm in now is just really being transparent with it all and authentic and being like, and I think that's one thing too that I feel like a lot of us have gotten from living through a pandemic. It's like, okay, if you didn't learn nothing about yourself in this whole time, or you had to sit by yourself at some point, at least 3 months, then, you know what I mean? And so, but not everybody did the shadow work. Not everybody looked at themselves in the mirror to really say, okay, let me use this time to get better. And so,
it kind of tested everybody's character. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I know I could speak for myself. I mean, I know the pandemic. I lost my mother through the pandemic. And the whole transition of adapting to life and then having a loss of a family member, and especially a very important family member. Obviously, the foundation of where you're coming from. To me, I analyzed everything, and I can look back at it and say, you know what, all this was a blessing, even though it was painful. You like you said, if you didn't learn from that, then you might as well just go and go to a bridge and just jump off, because I'm just saying it's not gonna get any better. You know what I mean? Like I hate to say that, you know what I mean? But it's true. Sometimes you need that raw reality, and from every loss there's a new beginning. You know, and you have to appreciate those moments, because humbling yourself, it's not. There's nothing wrong with that. It's understanding that. There's a bigger plan, bigger than you, and there's more to it in life than to be, just bullshitting yourself.
Yeah.
We're here to serve. We're here to serve others in whatever capacity we can, whether it would be entertainment, whether it be, helping someone go through some tough situations. We're here to serve others and then, be able to make a name for ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's... And I didn't mean about the whole jump yourself.
I got you.
But
Trigger warning, right.
But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? It's like, we all need that. We all need that reality check. As much as it hurts and as much as it's painful, there's always going to be something bigger. Life goes on with or without you, so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but you both have touched on that look in the mirror, that seeing that reflection. And you touched on that resiliency builds that character. But I think oftentimes people are afraid to look in that mirror because they're afraid of what they might reveal about themselves. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the hard part. That's when you okay. And I can talk about it because, I'm going through it right now personally, but I just feel like when you're able to acknowledge your shortcomings, right? It's not about criticizing yourself or making yourself feel like why this is wrong, but the simple fact that because of this, your reaction could be leading to something different. So if you acknowledge that, then at that point you're able to be self-conscious of what your capability is and what route is better as far as to give you that peace of mind and to at least be able to control your emotions, because we're all it's like all humans are addicted to drama. They're addicted to passion. They're addicted to all these things, and sometimes things can be very black and white, and we choose not to see it that way because we're emotionally invested in whatever we're stressing about. But if we take all that out of the equation, that's why you have sound baths, or you have ayahuasca, or you have certain natural stuff that kind of connect you to you. And I think that's the part where with everything that's going on, I think God is telling us connect with you. Not necessarily you don't have to connect with the world and everything, but as long as you're connected and you can transfer that energy to other people, then you're doing your good deed in this world, right? And that's why I feel like the stuff that you whether people want to believe it or not, it's a way of connecting with people and saying, hey, maybe I am stubborn, you know what I mean, or maybe I am feeling some type of thing, and and it's all about accountability, you know what I mean. Right. Once that out of the way, then it's more smooth sailing from there, So
yeah, they talk about that subject a little bit in this book called Big Magic, where it's the author talks about, she's like, I know that you're doing your art, to heal me. Please don't. Don't try to heal me with your art, with something you think that I need. Create your art for your own healing. And then those who it resonates with, including me, will then connect to it. And so I think that's been one of the most powerful kind of realizations I had when I was reading that book, because I was like, oh yeah, I wanna heal, I wanna this, I wanna that, and not addressing my own shit, since we can cuss. I know we can cuss or not. So I'm like, I got some shit I need to heal. I got let me, you know what I mean? And then when I started to address that and do that, then I saw that it, that it resonated. But then also when I did that, right, I think life is also about a constant process of learning to let go over and over and over again. And so I let go of any type of outcome. And then the minute I did that, it put me in a different position, a more powerful position to say, all right, this is what it is. And then from that, ironically, something happens when you are not asking and you let go of whatever outcome you think is supposed to be. People are then drawn to it because you're automatically in a more powerful position.
That
game.
Game.
Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen.
If you could drop the mic on that,
yeah,
like that would have been on that one.
Don't
Straight
drop
up, like.
All right, but ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to the end of our show. As always, I open up the table and our microphone to our guests and to our co-hosts. Before we get into that, Mr. Chester Gregory, thank you for being here. What's on the horizons for you? Where can we find you? What we got coming up? What should we be on the lookout for?
I'm on all social media platforms. My handle is Chester Gregory. Sometimes people put an O in my name, Chestor. It's not O-R.
It's Chester.
Right, Chestor. Chestor Gregory. It's Chester Gregory, Chester Gregory. All social media platforms. I'm continuing to do concerts. I headline the National Black Theater Festival. Got music. I'm just, living every day, aiming to be better than I was yesterday and expressing myself artistically to share something with you as I address my own healing. Right. And hopefully that resonates with you, whatever will.
Awesome.
GQ Nesto.
I just want to thank everybody, all our listeners. I hope, this episode kind of shines a light in a lot of things that we're going through. It's okay to get help. It's okay to talk about things, and there's nothing wrong with acknowledging reality. You know what I mean? It is what it is, not what you think it is. So thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Any comments or anything will be greatly appreciated, and stay tuned for more content for sure.
So, and once again, I'm your boy Drew. We are Option Forward. We love you. We thank you. We appreciate the love and support. We out. Peace.